Kyle. This is the Hide With Us podcast. I'm hosting today. I got my guest here, Brady Winder. Brady, how are
How's
you,
it going,
man?
everyone? Good, man. How you doing, Kyle?
Good, dude. Good. I normally start this by people giving like a kind of quick synopsis of what they do, kind of their background and who they are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, I do a million different things, but what I love doing is creating content that gets people leads and more customers. So, I work for carrot.com. I'm our content strategist, and a lot of people in the real estate industry know us as the kind of the leader in websites and inbound lead generation. And so, basically, I run our YouTube channel, our podcast, and that sort of thing. And I'm a marketer who teaches marketing. So that's the stuff I love to nerd out on. But yeah, man.
That's awesome. So when did you get into the marketing space?
I got into marketing about, let's say, about 6 years ago. I actually got into it by accident. I came from a background in audio engineering, recording and producing bands, and that's a hard way to provide for a family. And so I learned that the hard way, and I was like, I need to do something that makes more money, and got into podcasting. And as I got into producing podcasts for people, it kind of led into content marketing. And I realized, man, a lot of people are after the same thing. Like, people don't actually want to make podcasts. They want, at least business owners, they want leads. And a
Yeah.
podcast was a way to get there. You guys know that. We're on a podcast.
Mhm.
So anyways, I got into marketing through podcasts, and then just kind of went down the rabbit hole of online content marketing and lead gen. And most of that journey has been with Carrot. In fact, 90% of it's been with Carrot, and it's been a blast, man. Just getting to be with the company and grow and meet a lot of really cool investors along the way and help them get more leads.
That's awesome. So when you first started with Carrot, was it more tailored towards the real estate side of marketing, or was it kind of general, anyone that needed leads, or how did that work out?
Yeah, we've always been specific to real estate investors. So we work with about over five or 6,000 real estate investors. Most of them are doing wholesales, fix and flips, some buy and hold. We have some agents as well having success with Carrot. But yeah, we're specifically niched down in the real estate investing space, and we've just recently started to branch into home services. So we have contractors, roofers, and HVAC business owners using Carrot. But yeah, 95% of the time we're talking about doing real estate investing deals.
See, home services could be really good, and you know, praying for everyone that got damaged during the hurricane. I'm in
Mm.
Jacksonville, Florida, so I didn't get affected too hard, but the catastrophes were there. But those home services like roofing and stuff, when stuff like that happens, marketing and leads can go off the wazoo. So if you don't have a website and you don't have some sort of lead gen source from that, when people are searching it through the internet and you don't have your SEO and everything like that in order, like you're going to kind of be left in the dust and kind of just be, you're behind in the digital age. Can you kind of talk about how
Yeah.
SEO help people like that, help people be out there when people are searching for roofing companies or sell my house or whatever it is? Can you kind of talk about SEO in that matter?
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, roofing's a great example. And roofing, the same thing as investing in real estate. You can get leads from anywhere, right? I mean, I can go do pay per lead, or I can buy list leads, or I can cold call, or I can text. Or if you built up a reputation in your town or in the market, you can get leads sent to you via word of mouth and just connection and networking. So I'm not going to say there's only one way to generate leads, but anyone that's done any sort of marketing as an investor know that lead quality matters.
Mhm.
And so, when the hurricane hits, yeah, it's awful what's happening over there right now, man. It's crazy. But when something like that happens, what are people doing? Everyone's going to Google, typing in roofers near me, roofers in my city, roofers in my county, and they're flooding Google, going to see who can help them. And they're gonna be looking for who's the most legitimate, who's the most credible, who can solve my specific problem. And at the end of the day, human beings, we like to research, especially with, decisions that take a lot of time, money, and stress. And so with these big decisions I have to do with our house, we're going to Google and we're researching. And so, I love SEO and I love inbound marketing, content marketing. We call it evergreen marketing because it's marketing that keeps working for you in the long term. But I love it because it's the motivated leads, and it's only the people that already said, "Hey, I want to work with you." It's the
Right.
people that are raising their hand and saying, yeah, I need you to help solve my problem.
Exactly.
So it's in that sense, it's the same, roofing is the same thing as it is for real estate investors. Or
Yeah.
excuse me, inbound marketing is the same thing it is for roofer as it is for a real estate investor.
Exactly. No, exactly. A lead is a lead, and that's what the digital marketing space for. So it's just to generate those leads. Can you kind of talk about your services? How you guys are you guys like concierge service? Do you guys like do everything for people, or is it just like, hey, we'll set up the website and that's really it? Or can you kind of talk about your services there?
Yeah, for sure, man. And so there's a couple different use cases for Carrot, right? So I'll think of I think about actually Anthony. It was either Anthony or Daniel. I think Daniel kicked up a Carrot site recently because he started investing with his daughter. Is that right?
It was Anthony. Yeah, it was Anthony.
Is
I
it
think.
is Anthony? Yeah. So Anthony kicked one up for his daughter, and the reason he kicked it up is he said, I just need to get something online so that there's a place to send leads to. Maybe you're already generating leads, but maybe it's a credibility thing. It's like we just need to exist. We need to be on the internet, kind of put our stake in the ground and say this is a real legitimate business. We do deals, and this is how we can help people. So that's one way to do it. And so I'm just explaining this because some people think, oh, Carrot's just all about SEO, or Carrot is like the SEO company, or there where you go if you want like a big fancy custom website. But really, for a lot of people, just getting the website up and online to convert more of your existing marketing you're already doing is the thing. So we got templates for wholesalers, flippers, basically to attract motivated sellers and make it easy, starting at like $89 a month. So you can literally go to Carrot.com, sign up for a website, and get it launched in like 5-10 minutes. And all the pages and the copy are built out for you already. Now, obviously, it's like, hey, we want you to go swap out your photo, add your logo, add a little bit about it section and customize it and tweak it, make it your own. We want you to do that because you're going to be more successful if you do versus other people that are standing out in your market. But it's super quick and easy to just like launch it and not have to worry about the headache of like doing a custom website, a full build out. So anyways, that's kind of one route. The other route is if you do want something a little bit more robust, there's different levels. We offer different premium themes. And if you did want to go almost like a custom route and have something that's really pretty, that really stands out, really tailored to like a brand that you already have, we can do that. And our team can do it for you like an agency would do.
Right.
So we have that option. And then if you want to go SEO and do SEO, then we have tools to make that easy as well. But
That's
yeah,
awesome, man. No, I
I
think
just say that for the people that are like, oh, well, I don't need Carrot. I'm not going to do SEO. There's a misconception out there in the market, and people sometimes forget that, like, oh, okay, this is a website I don't have to stress about. I could just get launched fast, quick and easy.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, right now I think a lot of people unfortunately are looking for easy, but I think
Yeah.
it's been easier. It's been as easier as ever to be easy, and for companies to be like a concierge service because of all the tools out there, because of everything that's going on. I think that's the way that a lot of companies are going is the way of concierge. Hey, this is easy. Few clicks of a button and you're done. It's very attractive, and I think it also makes the barrier to entry very easy because a lot of people they're not techie. They don't really know their way around it, and they just need to get out there in their digital space. And you guys provide that, which is amazing.
Exactly. And like if somebody wants to nerd out on, conversion and lead generation and all the things, and they want to just like, we have tons of members who like inbound leads or SEO leads are their only lead source, and they're closing a bunch of deals from that. And if you want to nerd out on that stuff, if they want to nerd out on that stuff, then cool, we'll do that. And we'll talk about that all day, every day. But yeah, at the same time, there's a ton of people who it's like, I just need to get a website up. It needs to be specific to attract motivated seller leads. And I don't have the time, energy to fuss with thinking about that, or what pages to build out, what plugins do I need, all that stuff. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, they just want it out there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what what do you guys seeing that's working really well for, driving those motivated seller leads? What are you guys seeing that's working really good right now in this marketplace?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what's working really well is people who are building a brand holistically. And what I mean by that, I don't mean it in a woo-woo way of like having pretty graphics, or just doing a bunch of social media posts. Actually, the opposite. You don't need to do, hardly any social media like a lot of people would think. But um, building a brand holistically, meaning like get really good at one marketing method, get it producing leads, and then stack another on top of it. So if you need to produce leads now, in the short term, do it like Google PPC. I know Anthony was like, launch a carrot site, ran Google PPC ads to it, and just crank that and just keep closing deals from it. So you get that marketing method cranking and add on another one. So when I say build a brand holistically, I think of one guy, I can't remember who's done this really well, Jeremy Resmer. He's in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So Jeremy Resmer has a carrot site. It's been ranking for a few years for the term like sell my house fast, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. He's getting a ton of really good, juicy, organic leads from that. And the other things that he's doing, he's running direct mail in his area, and he's doing TV ads, TV campaigns in that area. And I think the mistake marketers or investors too often make is they think about all those things separately. Like, okay, how's my direct mail doing? Okay, how's my Google PPC doing? How's my Facebook ads doing? How's my SEO doing? And they don't realize that all of them compound off of each other, or at least they should if you do them well. And all of them should reinforce the brand that you're building, because it's like one marketing, like people hit or should hit multiple marketing channels. And so Jeremy was telling me a story of a lead he got where she showed up and he's like, well, how'd you hear about us? How'd you find out about us? And he's like, well, I heard you on the radio, but then I was going to call and I forgot. And then I saw you on TV and you mentioned the website on TV. And so then I couldn't remember the website. And so I Googled you, showed up, found your website, and then booked the appointment, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, there's just 3 that she mentioned, and there's like a handful of marketing methods you can do. So when I say build a brand holistically, I mean, like, don't just rely on one marketing method, and think about your marketing methods as getting your brand out there in multiple places, so you're everywhere and it's memorable. And there's a brand name, a name and a logo and an emotion that goes along with that, instead of just your name. Like, it's not just Brady Winder, here I am, I can buy your house. It's like, no, Brady buys houses, and this is what we stand for. Here's our website, here's our logo, and this is how we can help you. And get that everywhere. Not all at once, it's a long-term game, but the investor, like, to answer your question, the investors that are doing really well, they're doing that. They've got multiple marketing methods going, so that when one stops working, it stops producing, they don't have to panic.
Yeah. So when you're focusing on the long-term game, it's like just putting up digital bandit signs. You're just putting up digital bandit signs everywhere. You're like,
Yeah.
here I am. So instead of the physical world of having bandit signs, like we buy houses at every street corner, you're on like every form of Google. And do you guys do social media stuff too?
We don't do any social media ourselves, but no, we don't. We haven't had a need to. We don't really teach much about social media because, like, for motivated sellers, this is not a good way to produce leads. So kind of secondary for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I would say, sorry, the only caveat I would say, we do teach a lot about like YouTube, like getting leads through YouTube, because I guess YouTube technically is social media, but there's SEO to be done in YouTube, and there are leads to be had generated through YouTube. Like, we got members, like doing houses on like how to sell your house in probate, for example, that are getting leads from doing videos and content like that.
Okay, that's cool. So talk about before we got on live, you said you did a flip. Talk to me how you got into that flip, because I know you're not true real estate, you're in the marketing game, but talk to me about that flip. Talk to me how that happened and walk me through that deal.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So let's see. My wife and I, we bought our first house in 2016. It was winter of 2016. I remember, because we closed December 26th. The best Christmas present ever, man. The day after Christmas. And we were looking for our first house, and this was now looking back, this was like the prime time to buy, man. And I come from a little bit of a contractor, actually not even a contractor background. I'm just a little handy. I've built cabinets and stuff, and a lot of DIY. So anyways, I was looking for something where I could get my hands dirty and something that I could build some sweat equity into. And so found a flip opportunity, found a foreclosure on the MLS, and we'd pretty much just bought it at asking at 139. Yeah, 139 was what we bought it for. It was a 3-bedroom, 1 bath in rural Southern Oregon. And essentially we lived there for about 4 or 5 years, put a ton of sweat equity into it, pretty much did everything except for take it down to the studs. And then we didn't do the roof, but we did the roof at closing. Even had some foundation issues. We bought a house in a neighborhood. Kind of scary. We bought a house in a neighborhood that we didn't know had foundation issues. Like all these houses had foundation issues because the neighborhood was just not set up well to get water out. So, anyways, blessing in disguise. My wife actually, when we bought the house, ended up at some point working for a foundation company. And so we ended up getting a deal or a favor on foundation work, which, like, how often does that happen, man? Way cheaper. Usually hear foundation work and you're thinking, oh my gosh, 50 or 100 grand, but we paid like 12 grand to have the foundation fixed. Anyways, we ended up during COVID, we were like, you know what? I was kind of itching to build. I wanted to do new construction, and I was also seeing the Zestimate online of how much our house is worth. And I'm seeing housing prices go up and up and up. And I'm like, I think we need to cash out and take advantage of this. And I said, if I'm gonna do something else, it doesn't make sense to just sell the house and get into another one. But let's take that equity and build or do another flip. And so we sold it for $249. So we flipped it while we lived in it, made 100 grand. Our take was about like 70 after commissions. And we walked away and we're like, dang, that was freaking fun. It's like, that was fun. It was a lot of hard work, especially since we were living in it. But long story short, that was a 1950s house. I told you I wanted to get my hands dirty. I got them real dirty because the house is from the 50s, in the attic, in the crawl space. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be bougie and we're going to do new construction because I don't want to do another flip again. That was too nasty. It's like, I don't want to spend another day in a flooded, like, rat infested crawl space and tearing into walls where I don't know what I'm going to get into. But we made that house beautiful, sold it, cashed out, and then we did new construction. And that's where I am right now. That's where I'm recording this podcast, in our new house.
That's awesome. And then you also built a barndominium, which, it's quite prevalent in our land spaces. People like to do that with unrestricted large land.
Super common in Texas where you guys are.
Yeah. Can you talk about, did you get some sort of financing for this? Because I know it could be a little bit different, a little bit more nuanced since it's not a traditional build. Did you get financing for like a new construction loan? How did that work out?
Yeah. So actually, that was one of the most difficult things, was finding financing for it. And not because it was a barndominium. So when we were building, we didn't call it barndominium. We called it a steel frame home. And that changes the way lenders look at it. It's like, oh, a barndominium, barn, is it a pole barn? And pole barn, like, you're not going to meet code in most places with pole barn. So anyways, we called it steel frame home. And it wasn't difficult because of that. It was difficult because it was owner builder. That's what made it really hard to get financing for. So I was the GC on it, which Oregon, you don't actually have to have a contractor's license. I know Texas is even more lenient. But I don't have a GC license, but I was a GC on the project. And so I searched high and low. I had bankers that have been doing banking for 25 years, but like, you're not going to find anyone to loan you the money. And like, man, I work for carrot.com. I'm connected with real estate investors in every state. And so I'm talking with the real estate investor buddies, be like, hey, what are my options? What do I do here? And they're all like, hey, good luck, man. Like, that's it's too high risk. Nobody's going to give you the money. And then I stumbled on in a Facebook group for barndominium builders. Some guy was like, hey, Banner Bank, little community bank, like up the street in Eugene, Oregon, an hour north of me. He's like, yeah, they have an owner build program. And I was like, what? They have a tradesperson program. And so it's this super cool little program where you can, I think they're still doing it, but basically, I called them up. They're like, yeah, we have a trades program. Just show us your experience in the trades, why you think you're qualified to do some of the aspects of building a house, and we'll see what we can do. So I said, hey, I flipped our last house. My wife and I did everything, and I built cabinets, done X, Y, Z. And they said, yeah, you're qualified through the trades program. And they were crazy enough to loan my wife and I enough money to build the house ourselves, which is just blows my mind. I talked to real estate investor buddies in the state, like an hour down the road. They're like, man, I got to show 3 lines of credit and XYZ to try and get funding. How on earth did you get a loan? So it's wild, man.
You and your wife built that by hand, the house, essentially?
Yeah, we did. It took us about a year and a half. You say what?
I was like, did you sub some of the work out, or did you do a lot of the work?
We subbed out very little. So I designed it. I did the floor plans. We got a shell, basically a metal shell for it, and then designed the floor plans within. So like the exterior structure of the shell was engineered. So we had stamped engineered plans for the shell, but then, we designed the inside. And we framed it, man. We set it up. We did everything except for excavation. We didn't pour the concrete slab. We didn't hang the 5/8 sheetrock on the entire house, a 27-foot tall house with 5 layers of scaffolding inside in 100-degree weather. We didn't do that part, the sheetrock. And I subbed out a little bit of the plumbing drains, because like plumbing a 2-story house with drains was a little tricky. So, and the roof, but the roof got botched, and that was a horror story in itself that we're having to repair. So, anyways, yeah, we did it, man. It was like ate up our lives and time and energy. It was a sacrifice for about a year and a half, but it was, yeah, hardest thing I've ever done, but the most rewarding thing like ever. It's crazy to like build our own house on nights and weekends while still working and raising kids.
Yeah. So going back to the marketing, do you guys have any specialty people like that? Like people that are doing building barndidiums, people that are doing anything to sort of specialty like that, doing mobile home construction, anything of that nature?
Yeah, man, I can think of a few. In marketing they say like the niches are in the riches, and it's so true. That's where people do really well. And so like, I mean, you could look at land as a niche, which like you guys know better than anyone. Like land is pretty underserved compared to the competition of real estate investing. But yeah, I can think of a few people. We got one guy, he's in Phoenix, Arizona, and he's got websites for mobile homes. So he buys and sells mobile homes, and he flips mobile homes, and he's starting to do more on the retail side now, where you basically buy distressed mobile homes, dressing them up and selling them as an affordable housing solution. So got people doing mobile home investing. I know another guy, one of our members, Chris Ty down in Texas, has a website for construction. So, or for his general contracting business. So he's doing, his website is basically showing up when people type in things like kitchen remodeler, Cypress, Texas, bathroom remodel near me, things like that. And he's getting $50,000-$100,000 contracts for his GCs, just through his website like that. So there's a lot of niches to be had. We got roofers too. We got roofers in Florida using Carrot, but yeah, it's in the niches. And then like I use probate as an example. I can think of a couple people off the top of my head who are just like going real deep into being the probate expert and just saying like, hey, I'm the guy who can help you sell a house in probate.
Yeah, I've done quite a few probate deals, and they've always been very, very good. So
Yeah.
I can imagine that's a good niche to have, especially in Florida. That's where they're doing it. But because some states, like for example, Texas, they don't really do probates. They do some sort of different thing that I'm not super familiar with, some sort of affidavit of heirship. But here in Florida, you need to go through probate, and there in Texas, you just got to like sign some documents and stuff. But no, I can see that being a really, really good niche stuff in Florida.
Yeah.
How many? This might sound like a weird question.
I love weird questions, man. Bring them on.
What percentage do you think of your clients are running ads or running their websites in like red states, like states that are very friendly with housing laws and those types of things? Because we're seeing a shift in wholesaling. At least a lot of states are banning wholesaling or putting laws and regulations on wholesaling, and a lot of them are more of your blue states. So I was curious, is a population of your clients are more in the red states than it is anywhere else?
I don't have a map in front of me, and I don't have I wish I'm going to see if I can find that data, because that would be really interesting. I can't quantify it off the bat, but I'll tell you they're everywhere. And so it doesn't lean heavily towards one way or the other, if that's what you're asking. So like we got a lot of members in Texas. We also got a lot of members in California, where there's more red tape and things are harder. There's more regulation. Got a lot of members in South Carolina. So Jeremy that I was talking about, who's really built a brand and is getting a lot of leads and has a very successful wholesaling business. He's got 3 care websites that have generated over $1 million each and wholesale fees. And I talked to him just a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "How you doing with all this regulation?" Like, and he said it's stressful. Like we're having to learn how to pivot, but we're still cranking and they're still going. It just means you got to get a lot more creative and it gets a little more competition. But yeah, we got people up and down East and West Coast, blue and red states.
Yeah. I just thought it was an interesting question because, typically you want to do deals kind of where people are moving and like, so
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're looking at for land. We're like, okay, well, if we pick up a piece of land in, California or New York or something, it might move a lot differently than if we pick up something that, Florida or Texas or Tennessee or Georgia or North Carolina, where people are moving a lot, or they're moving towards that area.
Yeah.
So we're seeing our data.
Yeah, I see. So I hear investors more often focusing on specific areas of states rather than new states altogether. That's just a whole new bear or monster to go into a new state altogether, learn all the nuances of the state and the regulation. But I'm seeing investors focus on the outskirts of metro areas and larger cities to go after the more rural areas. Whether it's land or doing things like buying properties or raw land and doing Airbnbs or short-term rentals, midterm rentals on the outskirts of city. Because Anthony and I were talking about this on the when he came on our podcast, on Carrot's podcast. He was saying people are just wanting to get out of the city, and like the American dream has changed. People want a little bit more space. They want a chicken coop instead of a white picket fence, and so. I'm seeing a lot of investors go after the more rural areas, after the outskirts. And also there tends to be less competition on the outskirts than trying to go just after the city itself.
Yeah, it's like the donut method. So everything outside of the donut, that's kind of where you want to go. It's kind of what we look at at least for the big land. Also, there's city regulations that we can't do with larger land, and you're not going to find a lot of larger land in the cities as opposed to, outside in the county and a little bit outside the city, 45 minutes to an hour, you're going to find your large pieces, and you're going to have county regulations instead of city, which county regulations are typically very friendly compared to city regulations. Cities are very established, and there's more that goes into it.
Oh, it's night and day, man. It's like I live in Oregon, which a lot of people hear Oregon, and it's like, oh, red tape out the wazoo, which in some ways there is, but we built on county land. I got city utilities and county land, and I'm like, yes, this is the best of both worlds. This is easy.
It is, yeah. That's kind of how my house is too. We got city utilities, but we're county, so it's very,
nice.
Yeah, it's best of both worlds. Not as strict.
Yeah.
How about your podcast? Talk about your podcast a little bit. How long have you been doing the podcast personally for you guys?
Yeah, so I've been running Carrots podcast for a couple of years now. So we have two different things we do. My CEO and I, we have our CEO. We run a live show every week in a Facebook group called Evergreen Marketing Live, where we talk about marketing topics and lead gen. We nerd out on like conversion and SEO and how to get leads online. So we do that live show together every week, and it's a lot of fun. But I've been doing interviews for a couple of years with all different sorts of real estate investors, just talking about like what's working for lead gen and going over stories of deals and yeah, just breaking down marketing with a lot of our members for the last couple of years. And that's been fun, but it's called Evergreen Marketing. You can find it in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. But yeah, the podcast has been going. I was the behind the scenes guy before I took over as the host, but the podcast has been going since we're almost 600 episodes. So I want to say like 8 years the podcast been going for. Our first episode was Tom Kroll with Wholesaling Inc. Episode 1. Yeah.
Dang, dude. Yeah, it's been a while then. 8 years.
It's been a minute. Yeah. Podcasts weren't even cool yet.
What are some like quick wins or like low hanging fruit that people can do for their websites and how it can impact their lead generation?
Yeah, I'd say far and away, man, Google Business Profile. Like if someone doesn't have a website yet, if someone doesn't have any online presence, I'm going to say get a Google Business Profile set up with your name, with your business name attached to it. So get that up, get it verified. And people are like, oh, it's a pain in the butt to get verified. They tell me I got to send a video of myself at the business to send in. And it is a little bit of a pain, but because it's a pain, a lot of people just aren't going to do it. So I say that's less competition. But get a Google business profile up and reach out to your last few sellers, last few deals you've done, and get some reviews. Like, get some really legitimate, good, juicy reviews in there. Get a picture of your company or just a headshot of yourself if it's just you. But get a Google business profile, and then I'd say just get a simple Carrot website up, and you can tweak it as you go. But connect that to the Google business profile, because the Google business profile is good for getting seen and getting eyeballs and building a little bit of credibility, but it doesn't answer all of the questions that a seller has. So it doesn't give you a chance to show off all your videos, your other testimonials, your reviews, weigh out the pros and cons of like working with you versus an investor, learn about your company, all those different things. So you still need a website at the end of the day for that. But yeah, I would say Google business profile, super quick win. It's free, so there's no excuse. It takes under an hour to set up, and then get a Carrot website launched, and just start learning little bits about like how to be more credible online and how to generate leads online. Just learn a little bit as you can. Listen to our podcast and just pick things up and just implement a little bit at a time, and just start stacking bricks, man. But those are the two things I would say is Google business profile, get a website up, get as many testimonials on it as you possibly can. Just more testimonials.
Yeah, I've heard Google reviews is, essentially the biggest cheat code, and it's free. So
It's free.
yeah.
And if you don't have any reviews, like if you haven't done any deals yet, then just reach out to like maybe a mentor or a friend who can vouch for your character or your trustworthiness, and speak to that and let them leave a review until you start closing deals. But yeah, it's free. It's amazing, man. And
Exactly.
Google walks you through like everything you need to fill out. Just go through, follow all the steps, do everything Google asks, and you'll be good.
Well, are you seeing an influx of clients that are wanting to do, like, agents that want leads? Are you seeing an influx of them now that they've changed some rules and regulations for them? It's made it a little bit tougher for them.
I'm seeing a little bit more. It's not stark, but I am seeing more agents saying, okay, yeah, we need to focus on seller leads. And so some of those are people that already had a Carrot site where they're like, okay, now I'm going to start learning SEO. Now I'm motivated enough to learn SEO, or just pay an agency and start generating the SEO leads, which a lot of people like to do, and that's fine too. But yeah, I'm seeing more agents focus on SEO. And actually, it's interesting. Google changed something. I want to say a month or two ago, to where now if you Google like "sell my house fast, Dallas, Texas," you have the sponsored agents at the very top, where that never showed up before. It used to be just like Google PPC ads and then the organic search results, but now it's like, okay, here's 5, 10, 20 recommended selling agents. So I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting. Yeah.
Google saw it and they were like, we're going to capitalize on this, and we're going to have agents pay us for seller listing spots. So
No, exactly. Yeah, I think if Google's seeing it, yeah, I do think with the shift happening, agents are gonna have to get more creative. So that's why I asked you if more agents are coming in and needing to do some sort of marketing to start getting more leads, because I think a lot of them are gonna exit the space, and there's some really good ones out there, and I think they just got to get creative and start to, do some more branding and focus on themselves more.
They are. They're going to have to get more creative with their marketing, with their unique selling proposition. Why work with them versus the next guy? And Trevor, our CEO, has been saying this for a long time, that hybrid really is the way of like being an agent and an investor really is the way. And a lot of our members do have their agent's license, and if not, then they work closely with an agent. And so I think a lot of these agents, they're going to be getting motivated seller leads because people are Googling like "sell my house fast, Dallas, Texas." It's a distressed property. It's a motivated seller. They're going to stumble on the agent and they're going to realize, okay, they might not be able to serve me. And so those agents need to be ready to partner up with an investor and say, hey, I have an investor who can help you out, or I can help you out.
Exactly.
But yeah, if I were an investor, I'd be building relationships with the agents that are showing up at the top of Google.
Yeah. No, that's what we do. We scrape some of those too, because you never know. Some of them are just killers. So, what are some new strategies that you guys are implementing and helping other investors out with their websites and some stuff that happened in 2024?
The funny thing is, there's there haven't been a lot of new crazy things this year. Um, the core concepts of marketing don't really change, but a couple things that are working really well. One of them's landing pages. So being able to like create pages on your website like really fast for locations all over the place. So like if you're in San Antonio, okay, you need a page for Selma, you need a page for shirts, you need a page for Universal City, New Braunfels, all the outskirts, Divine that you want to go after, and having pages for those locations so that you're ranking for like anywhere someone's Googling around San Antonio, around that donut you had talked about. So um, specifically for SEO and inbound leads, the people who I see are doing really well are creating location pages, and they're getting leads that way in the outskirts of the metro areas, like we're talking about. So that's working really well. And we've got a tool that makes that super easy. But then the other thing is, I'd say people who are using AI and using ChatGPT the right way. So the wrong way I see people do it is they go to ChatGPT and they say, make me a blog post on X, on how to sell a house, and they copy and paste it and put it on their website. They didn't optimize it. It sounds generic, sounds like it's written by AI, and they didn't provide enough human touch to it or enough editing. The right way, people are using AI to create outlines for blog posts and say, okay, write me a article on the pros and cons of selling a house to a land investor in Texas, and using an outline and having ChatGPT outline an article for you or draft it up, but still editing it and putting in your own expertise. But yeah, I see people using AI the right and wrong way. We came out with a tool called the AI rewrite tool, where just you rewrite some of the content on your website just to make doing those rewrites faster without having to go back and forth to ChatGPT. But yeah, I see people who are using AI the right way are winning too, for sure.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
How do you see, because I mean, ChatGPT just came out with another update on financial models, and
Yeah.
so it's getting complex. Do you
Fast.
guys see, are you guys trying to, in your back end, utilize AI? Are you guys trying to look into how it can help you guys more as a company with Carrot? Because I know we certainly are looking into how AI can help us more in our business.
Yeah, for sure. So like me as a marketer, I'm using it. I'm using it all the time to get different perspectives I hadn't thought about. So new perspectives, or I'll take an idea or maybe like a piece of copy or a hook, and I'll say, give me other variations for this hook. And so I'll kind of use it as a brainstorming tool too. And so there's a ton of different ways we're using it in marketing for Carrot. I shouldn't say a ton. There's a handful of ways, but really the concepts stay the same. For Carrot, yeah, we introduced the AI rewrite tool, and we are exploring some other ways, some pretty innovative ways that are going to add some more value to the platform over the long term. It's kind of under wraps right now, but yeah, we're looking to add more AI into the Carrot platform.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's yeah, especially if you guys can keep it proprietary and everything like that, then you guys can make it a game changer for people, because I'm seeing it get better and better. Like it feels like by the week, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. I'm a little scared, but I'm excited to see what the future holds for AI, because it's very impressive in my eyes from what I've
Yeah,
heard in a few years.
it's crazy. One of the ways we're focused on it we are figuring out more ways to give investors some more marketing insights and help them make better marketing decisions. So whether it's if you're looking to go into a new market, or you're weighing out, hey, should I do PPC or SEO or Facebook ads? Which one should I do? Here's my market. We're trying to solve some of those problems, some of the marketing strategy problems that people have.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you could use AI to drive more people to your website and do all these different things, I could see that being a very, very powerful tool for Carrot, and for anyone that uses any sort of digital marketing. Is if you could drive more people to your website using AI, then I think you're going to win for sure.
Yeah, I love it for like brainstorming different hooks. So if you're like running a PPC campaign or a Facebook ad, you're like, okay, here's this hook, and my goal is to attract motivated seller leads. Give me 10 different versions of this hook. And then you can throw those into Facebook and test them out, or creating outlines for content. Like I mentioned, it just, man, it can save you so much time.
Yeah, no, it saves a lot of the thinking. You know, you can do property listing descriptions, like listing properties on MLS, like especially if you're doing like a flat fee or something like that. You're like, you know what, dude, I just want to throw up my photos that I got, and I need a flat fee. I need a flat fee idea for what an agent would put here. And you write it.
Yeah.
It's got this giant thing, and then all you got to do is like, you know what? Let me just dumb this down a little bit, make it a little bit more appealing, a little bit more sexy, and a little bit more
Uh-huh.
comfortable. And I'm like, dude, that I took me all of 2 or 3 minutes to throw it in ChatGPT, copy it, edit it, then thinking about it for 10 to 15, 20 minutes. And it saves a
Yeah.
lot of time. For copy, it saves a lot of time.
Oh, a ton of time, man. I think the most helpful thing that I've done for like with ChatGPT is just giving it the context. So like I'll take some of the copy that I've done that I wrote as a human from scratch and say, hey, just use this as your reference point. Like this is the voice of Carrot, or this is the voice of Brady Winder. This is Brady Winder's writing style. And I'll use that. And most people are doing it vice versa. Well, they'll start with a really basic prompt and then they spend a lot of time editing. But you can cut out like 80% of the time editing if you just give it enough context for how it should sound and what your goal is, what you're trying to get out of it.
Yeah. So you're essentially training it. That's a good point. You're essentially training it
Yeah.
to sound like you already, and it gets smarter and smarter because you're probably keeping it in the same thread. So you're just going just
Yeah,
all
I
the way.
tried to. And I've tested a couple other AI tools that are coming out. Like there's one called Hoppy Copy. And it's not bad. Like there's AI tools popping up every day, but a lot of them are just, I feel like the ones focused on content creation are just better at giving more context to ChatGPT and just remembering. So it's like, well, you could do that with ChatGPT for free. Just keep it in the same thread and give it more context with a prompt,
Yeah. No, it'll just keep learning. It'll just keep
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you guys using AI for right now? Anything interesting?
We do a lot of reinserting texting right now. We're reaching out to a lot of agents on both the buy and the sell side. So we're using GHL and automations and ChatGPT integrations to essentially run full automations for us. So essentially, you just press the button and it kind of runs the whole thing for us at this point on
Yeah.
text campaigns and everything. So that's something that we're re-implementing, and it's been working really well. And it's still fairly inexpensive, and it's getting smarter and smarter as we know. It learns, so that's been something that we're using it for. Um, Using it for just daily tasks too, just like you were talking about for copy and all those random things, or even complex real estate questions and
Yeah.
I'm an attorney. ChatGPT is not an attorney, but legal questions too. It becomes very intelligent with that. If you need something very quick, hey, can I use this in my contract? Is this a legal liability? Yes, it is, or whatever. And then you ask your attorney, yeah, it is. But if like your attorney's like, I'm in a meeting, or here's a $500 invoice, and it's just like whatever, then that's something that I've seen ChatGPT been very good at lately is legal advice and like real estate knowledge. Like its real estate knowledge is very, very powerful. Its
Yeah.
math outputs are very quick. Like, hey, what's an interest only loan at $2 million at 3% or whatever, and it'll calculate it instantly. So
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's getting better at math. So I've had some things recently where like it spits out something where I'm like, that's not right. And I'll be like, hey, that's wrong. You need to correct it, or at least like prove to me how you got that answer. And then it'll be like searching, and then it'll actually try a little bit harder. And it's like, oh, I apologize. But yeah, it's funny, man. But yeah, that's a good point. Like, I think a couple other use cases for me is like extrapolating data. So like taking like I ran a survey recently to a bunch of care leads and members, and
yeah,
just being able to take those survey responses from a Google form or a spreadsheet, upload that in ChatGPT, and say, hey, give me the common recurring themes of this. Give me some highlights of this, and break down the percentages of the responses instead of dinking around with a spreadsheet. So yeah, extrapolating data, kind of looking at themes. Another thing I like to use it for, this is more often personally, but like trying to make tough decisions or like decisions where there's multiple factors. So even like, I mean, you could do it with like buying, let's say you have like 4 different real estate investment opportunities, 4 different ways you could spend this money. And you're trying to figure out, okay, you just need ChatGPT to like help you understand the pros and cons and outcomes of each scenario, and just having it break down each scenario and, well, consider this, consider that, consider that. Or like, was comparing cameras the other day, and I'm like, okay, do I want to go research like 50 different digital SLRs and the pros and cons of each and and the prices, or just like give ChatGPT the context, it knows everything that exists, and then have it give me the best decision and explain why, like just researching. That saved me a ton of time, man.
That's a good point. I've been using it for recommendations quite a bit, for websites, for like all these different things, like local stuff. Hey, what's or oh, dude. So like going on I went on a trip with my girlfriend for her birthday. I haven't been to West Palm Beach since I was a kid, and we were going to West Palm Beach. I was like, dude, I'm older now. What's there to do for fun for 2 or 3 days? ChatGPT in West Palm Beach, and it would just spit out all these things. I'm like, okay, which ones are paid, which ones are free, and then it would tell you, hey, these ones are paid, these ones are free. So, and then I said, okay, now build me an itinerary mixed like 50% paid, 50% free, and it built me like a whole itinerary based on like when I was coming, what I was doing, and then we went off the itinerary for the vacation, and it was a good time. Like, it actually gave good recommendations, and we literally, that took me 5 minutes to do, and we weren't sitting there looking at, hey, where should we go for dinner? What should we do for lunch? Like, it gave us a whole repertoire of different things right off the bat.
That's cool, man. I had a buddy I work with do something similar, but he had it outline an itinerary. They already knew a lot of things they want to do, but it's like, okay, here's my schedule. Here's the things I want to do. Outline an itinerary for me. And I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I literally built the whole itinerary. But yeah, recommendations have been something, like local coffee shops, that are different from like, Starbucks, whatever, restaurants in this area, because I just moved to Jacksonville. So I was like, okay, what's good around here? Where can I go to get this? Blah, blah, blah. Like all these different things. Or I'm trying to think of a good example. Flat fee companies. I was looking at flat fee companies, and it was recommending all these flat fee companies. I found a really good one that does flat fees and drone shots for like $150 for
holy cow.
Yeah, and there's no you can do unlimited changes, you can do or there's no sometimes these flat fee companies, they'll put like, hey, you can only list it for like 120 days and then we're taking it down and you have to repay for it again. This one's like, nah, you can go for as long as you want, until you sell it or until you want to take it down. I'm like, dang, so I can get drone shots, I can list it forever for $150.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Nationwide. So I was like, that's pretty good. I don't know if they go super rural, but it's good for, inner city, more, domestic stuff.
Yeah. And just being able to tell ChatGPT, like, only give me, flat fee listing services that offer drone photography and offer XYZ. So you don't have to scrub through Google to look for just browse every single one and compare yourself. Yeah.
Because I was looking at drone shots. I was looking for like a flat fee website. And then all of a sudden this one, like ChatGPT recommends me one that has both, like for cheaper than, you could get separately. So.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I'll give you a shameless plug. Probably my favorite thing around AI, a guy named Brent Moreno. He used to be a carrot member. He used to invest in a lot of real estate, do a lot of deals in Mississippi. He has a newsletter now called Aideations. I don't know the website. It's aideations. Yeah, I don't know. But if you just Google Aideations, he's got a killer newsletter. I think it's every day, like Monday through Friday. But he's like covering all the different things that are changing AI, and he'll give out prompts in there sometimes. And so it's really cool to see all the different companies and use cases coming out. But that's like, for me, that's my source of like, okay, what's happening in AI? And like, am I even thinking about this creatively and big enough? But yeah.
I saw, actually, Daniel was the one that he sent me a tweet, and ChatGPT like solved this issue. It was super complex. It was like a real estate issue. I'll have to find it. And it saved the guy like 50 grand in the deal, but it was super complex, like really, really complex. And it was like only ChatGPT thought about it. He like spit out he like put the situation inside the prompt, and then he talked with it, and he was like, well, ChatGPT like made a suggestion, was like, well, what if you, it spit out a bunch of suggestions, and the last one was like, well, what if you did this? And then he like tried it, and it literally worked, and it was something that attorneys couldn't tell him how to do. Like he was like, damn,
Wow,
it saved me 50 grand. I'll have to find the post, and I'll send it through.
crazy. And we're in the early days of AI still. Imagine that conversation in 2 to 5 years.
No, I know. It's literally going to be solving everything for us, man. It's going to be
Yeah.
solving everything for us.
It's a little scary, a little scary, to be honest.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to end it here, and we're on the hour here. I want to end it here, man. And thank you so much for coming on. And where can people find you at?
Yeah, for sure. Just carrot.com. Come check us out. If you go to carrot.com/evergreen, we have a workshop that I teach there, like how to generate leads online. So if you're kind of dipping your toes into inbound or SEO, I know that can be kind of overwhelming marketing. So carrot.com/evergreen, there's a workshop where we teach it. But otherwise, yeah, you can find us on Facebook, Evergreen Marketing Group on Facebook. Ask questions there, or just come check out our podcast, Evergreen Marketing.
Sweet, man. Well, awesome, bro. I appreciate you coming on and sharing the game of SEO and PPC and your websites, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it, Kyle.
Absolutely.
Always good to connect with you guys.
Hey, if you have any deals you'd like to submit to the Hive Mind and our team, go to hivebc.io. It's actually the Hive Buyers Club. Submit your deals and we can hopefully dispel your deal for you. Have a great day.